Today we will see somewhat related to the decorative part, that is our adding the CSS to the our project. I have copied some CSS class from the W3 school. Here it is. I just taken the container, some input decoration and all. So those things I just updated here. Just we can add the link style sheet and we can give the path. I kept in this path, and also I did some alignment. Let's see how it is. And this part I did not change. Whatever our form part I kept as it is. Let's go through the execution. You can still improve the appearance based on the some add more decorative CSS classes and all. This is what, and I did not done any changes in the registration page. Let's do the changes in the registration page also. Let's go here, open the registration page. This part also will improve. Now let's see the still we need to add the link. Yeah, we can see this looks good or better compared to the last one. Let's see now login will work or registration. Obviously it will work. So just do the login. Let's check whether the home page is how. Okay, let's add home page CSS as well. Okay, it's fine now. I want to use the JSP useBean in the place of login and registration. So here we are passing the username and password, and we are it is transferring to the login.servlet. So here we are doing some operations like get parameters, username and password. If there are more parameters, then we need to do the get username, password, email, phone number, address, so many things. If that kind of complex forms we have, we can use the useBean with the some Java POJO classes. So I will introduce the one more package here. Test.entity will keep user detail. In the user details, for now we have, from our registration page we'll take first name, username, password, email and phone number. So let's add these parameters. Private string, full name we have, let's generate some aggregator methods for this. So we can right click and you can have the aggregator generate methods. You can select all. If you want, you can generate the toString method also. Sometimes we need to in this scenario we want to just verify whether we received the correct data or not. This is a toString method. Now whenever I give the username and password, it has to come in this object format. So that is our main agenda. So here I will do the small modification. In place of the form URL, form submit URL, what I will do, I will take one more JSP, just introduce one more JSP, login.jsp. In this JSP I will use the JSP useBean. I will give the user login user, you can give the ID like this. Then we have something like a class. You can import this class, entire class. Then useBean. Then I will use the JSP colon set property. The properties, all the properties I will set. That is the from the previous form name I have given the login user. Then what we have to do, JSP colon, you can do the forward to the page or the next URL, that is login. This login is same as what we have before here, login. So instead of that we are introducing one more form, login.jsp. It is going the login.jsp, all the parameters which should have the variables whatever there in this file, like username, password, email, phone. Let's check that variables are same or different. We have full name as f name, username, password, email and phone. Will come registration page later. Let's discuss about the index page, because in the registration page we have different email and username and password. So now when you need to modify your servlet code as well, you will get these two parameters as well. And also you need to say something like request dot get attribute name we have to give, and this is user details. We need to typecast it to the object. Now we will comment this for our confirmation. If you want to check, we can check these two parameters also will be received. But what we will do, we will use this new useBean concept. So whenever we take the username and password from the user bean, now here we have only only two parameters. That's why we don't have the much complexity. Whenever we have the more parameters, like from the registration page or the different, that time this will be very flexible and we feel more code optimized one. Let's compile and run it. After compile and running, we are printing the username by the request.get parameters and password from this. Then we are validating by our way how we did before. But only the change is we are getting the username and password from the useBean attribute. That is our login user. As soon you get these, we'll introduce some more concept with this. Now website is coming up. Now we can check our username password validation. Last time we checked from here, due to some local cache, it was printing the listener. Now we will check username password. Null pointer exception. We have to declare it in the scope like request. Now let's see. Here we go, it is working fine. When you give the username as admin, our earlier username and password, so it is reaching the login servlet. Now we are able to print the password as well. This is the DB password. Now let's remove this. We will print this username as well. Get username. Now we are not using any request.get parameter like that. We are just using the. Now we will change our registration page. Let's go to this. We have something like a full name. We need to modify this to full name, and we need to introduce one more JSP in the place of form. Let's introduce the form JSP dot JSP. In this we will use the useBean, sorry. I can say register, then we can do the class same or user details, then we have to give the scope. We will give as a request scope, like we have to give JSP set property all the properties to the register. Then we have to say forward. Where we have to forward? To the register URL. So let's not get confusion. This will take the user data. Everywhere we are using register, it will get confused. So now our JSP name we have given as action JSP. This we have to mention inside the here, and in the registration we need to comment these lines of code, even this. Now I have to say user details user equals to from the request object request dot get attribute. What by attribute name we have given? We have given the attribute name as data. From the user data we will get complete user object. Here we can mention user dot get username, the first one, then user dot get password, second one, then user dot get full name. Here user dot get email, user dot get phone number. Now let's check this login already worked, and we'll check the registration. Let's check the registration page. We'll use some name, location, password. Here we'll change that password as well. Are we using any sys out here? Let's put on sys out. User dot get full name. We need to restart now. It will automatically restart the server. Let's wait for the restart, then we can automatically see the result. Let's submit here. It will print the full name, whatever the full name we have given, then the email ID. Let's check the login. We have given the username and password. Let's go here. Username is location, password 456. Okay, we are able to log in. Welcome location is showing here. So this is how we can use the concept of useBean in the project, and here we studied the how we can utilize that. Instead of these lines of code, we can utilize the single object by introducing a new JSP file with the tag.